From Concord University in Athens, West Virginia, this is Mountain Lion News.
Hello, and welcome to Mountain Lion News. I'm Leah Gilpin.
And I'm Ashley Workman.
Last Tuesday, September 17th, Concord Student Activities and the Concord Theater Department hosted actor Tim Mooney. Students enjoyed two workshops called Lotto Shakespeare, in which Mooney performed a monologue from every one of Shakespeare's plays. Here's what theater director Karen Varanch had to say about the events.
Okay, so the Concord University Theater Department and the student activities at Concord University are presenting Tim Mooney. He is a nationally known performing artist that presents a number of different shows. But what we're doing tonight is something called Lotto Shakespeare. And he's going to do a monologue from every one of Shakespeare's plays. He's energetic, he's fun, he's treating it like a bingo game and people win prizes. It's really quite fun and innovative way to learn as well as have fun.
In other news, pet owners from across Mercer County gathered together on September 14th to check out the All Creatures Leash on Life Pet Fair. Holly Street, organizer of the fair, says that 8 years ago the fair started in the All Creatures parking lot.
It was an event that was created to bring the animal-loving community together and raise awareness for the homeless animal crisis in our area.
Today, the event is held at the Princeton Recreation Center and offers services such as nail trimming, a doggy park, and on-site rabies clinic. They also showcase vendors from the area as well as a chance to go home with a furry friend of your own. The price to get in was a donation of pet food, and a raffle was held to raise money for homeless animals.
Everyone came out to enjoy the food and festivities of fall Saturday, September 21st, just a few miles down the road at the scenic Camp Creek State Park. From cornmeal making to delicious apple butter and even a whole pig roast, the Fall Festival at Camp Creek State Park dished out some great food for the season. But the food wasn't the only thing ringing in this fall season, as there was also plenty of Appalachian craft and display tables, live music, and simply the beautiful colors of fall to enjoy. When it comes to what's new at the cinema,
we turn to MLN's movie critic Cameron White. Cameron?
Hello, and welcome to See You at the Cinema. Today I will be reviewing a hilarious movie about a group of old friends meeting up to catch an evil old clown. No, this isn't a new Scooby-Doo remake. This is It, Chapter 2.
Something happens to you when you leave this town.
Let me just start this review by saying I really did enjoy the first It that came out a couple years ago in theaters, at least when I watched it on cable in the comfort of my own home. I gotta say, it was entertaining and even scary at some parts. I cannot say that for Chapter 2, which serves more as an accidental comedy than a film of pure terror. The only thing terrifying about the film was the runtime, clocking in at 10 minutes short of 3 hours, which is even longer than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This would be tolerable if the movie did not feel so repetitive. And I am not even talking about a scene-to-scene basis. I am talking about the sequel essentially being a copy-paste hack of the original film. Now only this time with the children as adults. Which brings me to the best part of the film, Bill Hader. I love Bill from his time on SNL and his hit HBO show Barry. And this film, while an abomination to the works of Stephen King himself, does show how excellent of an actor Hader truly is. And for that, they get an extra spooky clown. I'm giving It Chapter 2 2 spooky clowns out of 5. One for Bill Hader, and one for making me laugh, whether intentional or not.
You're dealing with an expert with guns.
Well, if clowns aren't your forte, then I have another review up my sleeve for you. Time to bring back those Vietnam flashbacks with Rambo: Last Blood. So one time I was eating at this really nice Italian pizzeria, and the couple sitting at the table across from me were approached by the head chef, who of course cordially asked them how their meal was. They responded by saying that their marinara sauce was watery, and that the breadsticks were simultaneously undercooked and burnt, that the cheese on the breadsticks was either too cheesy or not cheesy enough, and furthermore they had never ordered cheese breadsticks and were instead still waiting on what they had actually ordered, a Caesar salad, and potato soup, respectively. Now, I presume that many viewers at home are wondering why I haven't said a word about Rambo yet, and instead I'm talking about a bad pizzeria experience that wasn't even my own. Well, that is what it feels like to watch Rambo Last Blood. It feels tumultuous. It feels like vacuuming around a kitchen for your grandparents, only the vacuum they give you blows instead of sucks. I sincerely love Stallone, and if the recent Creed movies are proof of anything, it is that he still has potential as an actor. But this was a horrific mess that showed he works better as a mentor figure now instead of the main protagonist. With that said, the action scenes at the end are entertaining for what they are, and if you were to watch the last 30 minutes of this movie half awake while munching on some prepackaged cheese breadsticks, I could see someone really enjoying the experience. Just avoid the marinara, it's too watery. With that said, I am giving Rambo Last Blood 2 breadsticks out of 5. If only because my dad watches these reviews and he loves Sylvester Stallone more than me. Tune in next time for my review of Between Two Ferns and a surprise or two. Until then, I am Cameron White, and I will see you at the cinema. Back to you, Ashley.
This week, we caught up with Director of Intramurals, Chris Smallwood, to talk about the upcoming intramural sports and activities happening here on campus and what we can expect this semester.
We're currently doing flag football, probably be doing that through the end of October. We're in the second or third week of the season right now, and then we'll be doing a single ELM tournament. After that, we're going to do indoor soccer, then 5-on-5 basketball, and this year we're definitely going to do 7-on-7 volleyball in the gym. Bring that back. I've had a lot of requests for that, especially from our women's students. In between, we're going to be doing several smaller events, 1-2-day tournaments. We already did one. We did a beach volleyball tournament the second week of school. Went pretty well. Had some prizes for that. On these events, we're trying to work with student organizations. The second event that we're doing this week is Health Week. So on Thursday, we're doing an Ultimate Frisbee tournament, and I'm working with another student named Christina Harrer on that. With her, who's doing a project with the Healthy Campus Initiative. So we're partnering with her for that one. That's going to be at 7 o'clock over in Callahan Stadium on the 26th, which is this Thursday. Other than that, we plan on doing a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. The plan for that is going to be right after flag football. So we'll do the 3-on-3 and during the week that we're doing soccer signups.
Just watch out for the flyers and emails Chris sends out weekly for upcoming events. If you have any questions, you can stop by his office in the Student Center, room 207, or call him at 304-384-6347.
Now it's time to take a look at what's going on in Concord sports.
Joining us in the studio is MLN sports correspondent Brandon Eames.
Thank you, Ashley, and welcome to another full week of sports here at Concord University. I'm Brandon Eames, and let's see how our athletes did this past week. Both men's and women's cross-country programs had athletes named Mountain East Conference Athletes of the Week in junior Samuel Haynes and freshman Gretchen Mills. The men's team also held on tight to their preseason rankings as the third as the first regular season Atlantic Regional polls were released. This is just the third time in program history that the Mountain Lions have been ranked in the top 3. Both men's and women's teams will be in action this weekend at the Queen City Invitational in Charlotte, North Carolina. Volleyball, however, dropped both their matches this weekend at the Lee Invite in Tennessee. They were taken down in 3 straight sets by Shepherd and in 4 sets by Emmanuel College from Georgia. Concord Volleyball drops to 2-9 on the season and will face off against UVA Wise on October 1st. Men's soccer was also in action this past weekend, unfortunately losing a tough match to Notre Dame College and will face 4-1 and will face off against West Virginia Wesleyan in Buchanan Wednesday at 4. Last Tuesday, Concord's women's soccer team faced King University in what was the Alexis Walker Memorial Game. Concord played an inspired game as they would score both their only goals of the day in the first half, by coming by way of freshman forward Rachel Bell and junior midfielder Alicia Robinson, who tallied her first goal of the season. Concord's defense would hold on strong, helping the Mountain Lions seal the 2-0 shutout going into the Mountain East Conference play this past weekend against Davis and Elgins, where they would pitch yet another shutout along the way to a 1-0 win and an undefeated start to their season. Junior midfielder Courtney Wallace scored the lone goal for the Concord, making it her second goal of the season. It's not looking like anyone's going to stop these ladies anytime soon, as they'll face West Virginia Wesleyan Wednesday night under the lights at 7. The Mountain Lion football program would drop to 0-3 on the season, losing a heartbreaker this past weekend to Glenville State. After losing to Frostburg State 52-14 the weekend before, Concord looked to bounce back, but would wind up falling just short in overtime, losing 27-20. Junior defensive back Imani Moore seemed to have saved the day as he ran back a fumble into the end zone just with 4 minutes left to play. The Mountain Lions defense would bend but not break as they let Glenville State drive down the field just to miss a 37-yard field goal as time expired, sending the game into overtime. Glenville State would score on its first play from scrimmage in overtime as Concord would end up turning the ball over, sealing their fate. Redshirt freshman quarterback Matt Scherer, in his first career start, would end up going 17 for 39 with 121 yards and 3 interceptions, as Concord's defense would force Glenville State to their first 3 turnovers of the season. The Mountain Lions are back in action at home this weekend against West Virginia State.
And later, a blast from the past with This Day in History. Don't go away.
Red Cross Blood Drive, Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the ballroom. Comedian Grant Lyon, Wednesday, September 25th, 2019, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. in the subway stage area. CU football versus West Virginia State, Saturday, September 28th, 2019, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., Callahan Stadium. Course Selection Workshop, Tuesday, October 8th, 2019, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. in the Pius Fellowship Hall. Homecoming Week begins Monday, October 14th, 2019, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Looking back to the past can provide interesting insight.
Here's MLN correspondent Austin Harmon with his segment, This Day in History.
Welcome to This Day in History. I'm Austin Harmon, and today we're going to take a leap back in time and look at events that happened today on September 29th in history. Now, where does our journey begin?
Hey-ho, rocking to and fro, back in the saddle again.
It begins in the year 1907. On this day, Gene Autry, perhaps one of the greatest singing cowboys of all time, was born on this day in Tioga, Texas. While Gene is known for being in movies such as Riders in the Sky and Melody Ranch, he is also known for his country music, like The Last Roundup, Back in the Saddle Again, and Christmas music, such as Here Comes Santa Claus, Frosty the Snowman, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. In 1918, Allied forces breached through the Hindenburg Line, the last line of the German defenses on the Western Front during World War I. The heavily fortified zone ran several miles behind the active front between the north coast of France and Verdun. Despite its several defenses, Allied troops would successfully breach the line after a 52-hour-long bombardment on the line. In 1953, during the midst of the Cold War, an article released by the New York Times on this day claims that Russian citizens want the American dream, like private property and a home of their own. Articles were released during the course of the Cold War to humanize the Russian citizens, in this time where both sides were wary and distrustful of each other. That one side craved just as much freedom, liberty, and material comfort as the other. Finally, in 1988, Stacey Allison of Portland reached the top of Mount Everest, some 29,000 feet above sea level, making her the first American woman to do so.
This was another episode of This Day in History. I'm Austin Harmon. Now back to you, Leah.
That's all we have time for on this week's MLN News. I'm Leah Gilpin.
And I'm Ashley Workman. We'll see you in 2 weeks.